The clearest sign your live work might not survive online is that it worked perfectly in the room. The room responded. The reviews were strong. The audience said it mattered. Then the work went online, and almost nothing about it worked the same. That's what makes the problem hard to diagnose. Most people blame the platform or the format or the algorithm or the audience's attention span, but those aren't really the root cause. The room was meeting the conditions that the online version isn't built to meet. The live environment was doing part of the job the online version was never built to do. So it was invisible because it was happening in the room. The audience was responding to something real, just not only to the content. They were responding to the energy in the space, who they sat next to, the trust they felt from being in a room with the speaker, or the way that the room was organized, like all facing forward, the social proof of seeing others nodding and laughing, and the structure that the speaker created on the stage. So when all that goes away, when the content gets put behind a video player or a login, all those conditions disappear with it. So the content still mattered, but the room was doing part of the job. These are signs. They're specific and they look like something else until you know what to look for. Sign one is a standing ovation in the room, but almost no follow-up activity afterward. No one references the work in their own conversations. The audience that seemed deeply with you when you finished doesn't take the work forward. And that usually points to an authority break. In a room, you were credible in a way that the audience could feel. The recording or the post can't reproduce that. Sign two, the recording goes up, gets viewed like one time, and almost no one returns to it. Not because the content was bad, but because there's nowhere for the audience to go back to. So structure is usually what's broken here. The audience may value the idea, but they have no clear way to return to the part that they need when they need it most. Sign three is the audience says they're going to use it. They mean it. Then they go back to the next meeting, the next customer call, the next hard conversation, and they fall right back into their normal practice. That usually points to trust. They agreed in the room, but when the moment got real, they didn't trust the new idea enough to actually use it. So in LeaderPass Lab, this is where the 5 conditions come in. They're what the live environment provides almost automatically, and what the online environment almost never provides on its own. Each one has to be true for an idea to keep being used. And when one of them breaks, the work stalls. That's what you just saw in the 3 signs. Authority broke, structure broke, trust broke. The full framework deserves its own video, but for now, the point is simple. The signs tell you which condition broke. That's what blueprinting does inside a LeaderPass Lab. We stop guessing at why the work didn't survive online. We look at the signs, we diagnose which conditions broke, and we decide what the environment has to do differently. And that's before anything gets produced or placed. That's the difference between trying to fix the content and knowing what has to be built around it. Structure, produce, place is what the diagnostic almost always points to. Structure makes the work easy to come back to. Produce makes the work credible enough to return to. And place is where the return actually happens. Structure, produce, place. Together, that's what LeaderPass builds. So when the signs show up, what gets fixed is rarely the content. What gets built is the environment around the content. So for any expert or organization watching strong live work fall flat online, the signs matter. They're showing you exactly what the room is doing that the environment online is not. So look closely at them. A room that responds but doesn't lead anywhere. A recording that opened once and never gets used again. A promise that doesn't survive 30 days. We're going to change. We're going to make it different. And they don't. Each one's telling you something specific about which condition broke. The signs are the diagnosis. They're telling you what has to be built next.